Could you go into the nature of the intelligence which manifests itself when perception takes place? And is this the only true source of action? This is the last question. What's the time, sir?
5 after 1.
5 minutes.
After.
Can we go on with the last question? Sorry if one is kept with all these questions. Could you go into the nature of the intelligence which manifests itself when perception takes place? And is this the only true source of action, which is intelligence? We more or less talked about intelligence earlier this morning. And the questioner says, the nature of intelligence which manifests itself when perception takes place. Right? So we have to inquire, what is perception? We inquired into the nature and structure of what intelligence is earlier. Now we're asking, what is to perceive? Is perception, seeing, not only visually, optically, but when you say, I understand, is it intellectual? You say, I understand something very quickly. That's intellectual, which is part of the whole structure of man, whole structure. There's only a part of it, right? In the intellectual theories, concepts, conclusions, perceptions are a very small part of the whole. The part doesn't make the whole, but we have made the part extraordinarily important. Right? Why? Going too slowly. Why have we made the intellect, which is part of the whole being, feeling, understanding, affection, all that? Why have we given importance to the part, which we always do? Part of the country, part of my family, it's a part. The earth is the whole of man, for the mankind. But we say, it's my earth, my country, part. Why have we done this all along? Dividing the whole world into nationalities, into, all that's going on. Why? Isn't it, I'm suggesting this, don't accept it, question it, doubt it, all that. Isn't it that thoughts which has divided thinks it will be secure in the part? Secure in being nationalistic, secure in being a tribal, in the tribe, belonging to a tribe, belonging to a particular form of thought, which is religion, right? So we're always seeking security in the part. That's a fact. Not a theory, that's a fact. My property, I'm not against property, I'm just saying my property, my country, my wife, my God, what I think. So we have always cultivated the part. And the part is the intellect, And in that intellectual comprehension, we think there is security. Of course, the more cleverly you argue, cleverly you discern, you don't know all the world with professors, scientists, all the writers, when they are intellectual, everybody adores them. They become great people. That is, part means the superficial. Right? Is perception only a part? Perceived by a part, by the intellect, or only emotions, or only a sensory response. You understand my question? Or perception implies a seeing totally, not partially. You understand? One perceives the cause of fear, right? Not verbally, intellectually, emotionally. It is perception is an action of seeing the whole of nature of fear, right? Not the various branches of fear, but the whole movement of fear. The movement of fear is time thought. We went into it. To perceive it, not verbally or idealistically, but to see instantly the whole nature of fear. Right? Now, when you see something wholly, completely, what takes place is something quite different. I'm going to it, if you'll have the patience, and if you're not too tired, by hearing the only speaker. For the moment, when you go home, you can all speak. But now, unfortunately, there's only this person speaking. Look, let's make it very, very simple. Suppose I have been a nationalist all my life, or clinging to my particular religion in quotes. That my brain has been conditioned to be a nationalist, to be belonging to a particular sect. Whether that sect had 100,000 million, it's still a sect. My brain has been conditioned that way. You come along and tell me nationalism is the root of war, one of the causes of war. I listen to you. You explain to me logically, if I'm willing to listen. If I'm not, of course, you can't do anything with me. But if I'm willing to listen, which I am, you then explain to me one of the factors or the causes of war: nationalism, racialism. You pointed out various implications of war. I listen to you and I say you're quite right. Either I accept it intellectually, and that it has not great value, but I say how true that is. The moment I perceive how true it is, I have moved away. the brain has been unconditioned from the old pattern. Do you get this? The moment I perceive the truth of what you have said, the brain cells which have been conditioned to nationalism, to sectarianism, disappears. So, perception or insight into what you have said brings about a radical change in the very cells themselves. The speaker has discussed this matter with scientists. Not that you must accept what the scientists say or what the speaker says. He has discussed it, we've argued about it, and they agree to this. Some of them, they say, or others say not to go. This pure romanticism, etc. But the fact is, I have been going north, you come along, say that way leads to danger. And I listen to you. I argue with you, discuss with you. You have a quick insight in what you are saying. And I see the truth of what you are saying. So I move away from going north. I go south or east or west. That very movement, contrary to the old habit, has brought about a radical change in the brain itself. Because, you understand, the pattern has been broken. When the pattern is broken, there is something different. So, where there is a perception in which there is not merely intellectual comprehension, but a total insight into the problem. Insight to say, for example, all organized religions have no value. They are mere entertainment, excitement, sensation, they have essentially no human, it doesn't bring about human change in all that. You have quick insight. So it's finished. You don't belong to any group.
Does that apply to holding on to fear as well?
Come on.
Does that apply to holding on to fear as well? To holding on to fear as well?
Huh?
Does that apply to holding on to fear as
I explained, sir, fear. If you have an insight into organized or institutions, which, etc., etc., if you have an insight, that's a quick, the instant perception of what is true. But most of us are incapable of that because we are not quickly sensitive. You understand? We are rather dull people. I'm not saying, please, I'm not saying you are. We're all rather conditioned people. And this condition cannot be changed, bring about a total mutation if there is not insight into conditioning. And the insight is not remembrances, conclusions. It's not a process of time and remembrance. It's seeing things as they are, quick, instantly. Now, the questioner asks, when perception takes place, there is intelligence. And this questioner says, is this intelligence the source of life? The source of action, sorry. Of course. You understand? When there is perception that tribalism, which has become glorified nationalism, is the most destructive element in life, bringing wars and so on. You have instant insight into it, and that insight has its own action. It's not insight and then action. That insight itself is action. Yes? That is the moment when there is the perception that tribalism is one of the factors of war. That insight is action. You are no longer, there is an action that wipes away your particular tribalism in you, wanting to belong to a group. Right? That's the end of the questions. At the end of all this, one asks, what has one seen, learned, observed? Do we go on with the same old pattern of hate and reaction and action, blackmailing each other? Or does all that end? That is quarrels, a sense of communion, affection, all that.